same word, and maybe you've experienced this in your life, that great strength is actually born out of profound sorrow. That sometimes it's the things that break you that lead you to a strength you didn't know that you had. That God uses to build into you something you didn't know you needed. Listen, the strongest people you will ever encounter in your life are people who have been through some stuff, yes? Those who have experienced brokenness and pain and heartache that forged in them a strength that exceeds understanding. I have never met a strong person who had an easy life. Sometimes it's the sorrow in life that forges the strength of the person that we see in front of us. And we don't know their whole story. We just see the strength and don't know the deep sorrow behind it. But it's sorrow in our lives that produces passion and fire, that steels our stomach to face the pain of the world, because on the outside of sorrow is a Savior who will use it ultimately for his good. And that gives us strength. And it's strength for ourselves and for our families, for our kids, strength for our church, so we can leave this place and go offer hope and strength to a broken world that experiences sorrow and has no answer for it. We have the answer for sorrow. It's not numb it, it's not ignored, it's not pretend it didn't happen. It's in the midst of your sorrow, there is a Savior who can produce strength. And so as we experience brokenness and let Jesus heal us, we walk out of this place and help heal others, because on the other side of sorrow can often be strength. And maybe something I'm talking about, you understand this. I saw people nodding because you've been through sorrow that's led to strength. Maybe this has been in your past. Some of you, you're in this right now, a moment of immense sorrow, and you wish I'd just shut up and you could go home because you're tired of hearing me talk about it. Because in the middle of sorrow, the last thing you want to hear is, don't worry, God's doing something. You're like, I wish he'd do it or let me the heck out of here. Because in the middle of it, it is terrible. It is terrible, but it will get better. And maybe it hasn't even happened to you yet. Maybe life has been pretty easy for you. Things are good. I don't want to be a pessimist, but you're going to face sorrow in your life. And what happens on the other side of it is going to be a testament to how big your God is. And I need you to know that the God of the Bible is very, very big. The greatest trials you go through will fortify your greatest strength in your life. And from the hurt and the brokenness in your life, like a bone that mends, the place where you broke will become stronger. Strength and sorrow and strength. One of my favorite writers, A.W. Tozer, says, it's doubtful whether God can bless a man greatly until he's hurt him deeply. It's crazy to consider that this universe, there is so much sin and brokenness. And if that was the end, the world has no answer for it. But the good news is there is a God who uses that brokenness for his glory and our good. Jesus, who has all power and all authority, experienced tremendous sorrow. It said in Isaiah 53, we read this at communion, that he was a man of sorrow, acquainted with grief. If I'm describing God, that's not how I do it. I'd be like, he's awesome, and he's never sad, and he's so strong, and he's full of justice, and he always votes my way, and everything that I like, he likes. Like, that's how I was describing God, which is why I don't get to. But the Bible describes the God of the universe as a man of sorrow, acquainted with grief. I love that, because it was his sorrow on the cross that came to an end 3 days later when he walked out of the tomb, that conquered death, hell, and the grave forever. He was showing his unending strength when he walked through sorrow. And I think that's really not just inspiring, but that should be stealing in our lives. That should be a strength for us. We sang today, death was arrested. Death was stopped. Death was ended. We say death to death. God, even Jesus himself didn't go around death. He walked right through it. He walked right through it. He experienced sorrow and then displayed his strength. I think about it all the time when Lazarus died. Think about this. Jesus is God. So he knows he's about to raise his friend from the dead. But what does he do when he gets there? He doesn't go, listen, Mary, Martha, death is just a natural part of life. And, its life is a cycle and it's cyclical and things will be better one day. No, he wept. Jesus wept for his friend. He joined in that sorrow, and then he kicked death in the teeth when he called his friend back to life and showed his immeasurable strength. Sorrow and strength are so often connected, and it's the sorrow that often produces strength in our lives. And even through sorrow, God can bring life. I hope that helps some of you, because I know some of you are facing incredible situations that God's not done. Hold on. Hold on to him. Sometimes the tears that we cry today will water the seeds of strength tomorrow. And we